Check. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And I gotta say this. I normally don't like to waste your time, my time, or the quadrillion minutes and seconds that are available on the internet. But this story today, this announcement today, just rubs me the wrong way. And it's rubbing a lot of people in the media the wrong way. Today, Lane Kiffin, head coach or former head coach of Ole Miss, has signed his 7-year, $91 million contract and has been officially announced as the head coach of the LSU Tigers. Now, let's preface this by saying I have no problem with anybody getting a better opportunity, a bigger job, more money, whatever it is. You want to go across the street to the guy, to the bigger company, go for it. You deserve it. If you earned it, you deserve it. But there's a level of decorum, of class, that should be practiced, a level of professionalism. Lane Kiffin did not show any of that, not to his school, not to his players, not to the family of those players. He just up and out of Ole Miss literally at the end of their season. Now, they are not finished here. They still have a pretty strong chance of making the playoff. And this head coach, not even at the end of the season, right around the time of the Egg Bowl, which is like a big rivalry game for Ole Miss, goes and takes a job not with a team in the Pac-12, not with a team in the Big Ten, not with a team in the ACC, but a team in his own conference. And he's making himself out to be the victim here. Everybody's picking on poor Lane. This is a guy who's going to a school that, listen, they have to win at Ole Miss, to do what he's done at Ole Miss over the last 3 years is shocking, even though I'm not a big fan of him. He's never won anything. But to do what he's done at Ole Miss is special. He had a special year this year. Ole Miss is a school that doesn't have a lot of resources. They don't have a lot of pull. You know, guys from around the country aren't dying to play for Ole Miss. So it's going to be hard for him to win a national championship there. On the other hand, at LSU, they have 5-star recruits up the ass. They just had a terrible head coach in Brian Kelly, who had also a terrible Southern accent, which was a joke too. And so now he's going to go to a major power that has a tremendous amount of resources, that is a national brand, that guys, 5-star athletes are going to crawl to go to LSU because they know that they're going to be on TV, which is what these guys want. And Lane Kiffin is going to poach all of his top coaches or coordinators from Ole Miss and probably some of his players. And he's going to poach them and steal them from Ole Miss to, I shouldn't say steal, poach them and bring them from Ole Miss to LSU. And he is going to decimate that program. Again, I'm not saying this to ridicule the move. If he took the LSU job 24 hours after the national championship game, it's expected. That's what coaches do. They go to the bigger schools. They go where the money is. It's just America. It's the business. But to do this to these guys, these players, right before the playoff, not knowing what the hell's going on. The controversy of this whole thing is unfair to those guys. Can you imagine the freshmen who probably had offers to go anywhere else? But Lane Kiffin came into his house last spring and said, "I believe in you. I'm going to make you. You and I. We're going to go to. You're going to come to Ole Miss, and we're going to do something special." What is that freshman thinking now? What is that sophomore thinking now? Hey, my fucking head coach who just sold me a bill of goods is gone. He's going to LSU, and I'm stuck here at Ole Miss. Now, with the portal and NIL and all this other stuff, these kids can leave. They can go anywhere they want. But it's still fucked up for the school. I mean, does loyalty exist anymore? I know that we will never ever see the Joe Paternos or the Bobby Bowdens, Woody Hayes, Bear Bryant. We're never going to see those guys again. 30 guys who were at a school 25, 40 years. We're never going to see that again. I know that. But the level, the wild, wild west attitude that is now exists in the NCAA is just out of control. These players and these coaches just jump ship whenever they want. And it's crazy. Now, I get it. There's millions of dollars to be had, especially for these players. So if you have a kid out there, if your son or nephew or whoever, or you are a top high school 4-star recruit, you're going to get money thrown at you. And I understand if you have one good year, just one, if you play for Ball State, let's say, or Akron or Rutgers or whatever, and you have one good year, Alabama might call you, USC might call you, Ohio State might call you. And they don't call you to say, hey, kiss the head coach's ring. Now it's kiss the ring and sign this check. There are millions and millions of dollars at stake for these players now. These head coaches are going to start poaching players up and down the country. And for Lane Kiffin to do this at this particular time is absurd. And there needs to be rules, just like in the NFL. The NFL, I think there's a certain date. I don't think you could talk to a coach or a coordinator if the team is still playing or if they're not out of the playoffs, if they make the playoffs. You have to wait till the season's over for that team. It should be the same way in the NCAA. There is no reason why LSU had to go after this guy at this time. And I just don't understand why Lane Kiffin. This is a guy who's been a wreck everywhere. Nick Saban fired him at Alabama. He got fired at USC. Wasn't he on an NFL team? I forget if he coached an NFL team or not. He was a disaster. He's never amounted to anything. Now, listen, is he a competent coach? Yes. Is he a coach that people are, dropping on their hands and knees for? Give me a fucking break. Now, is he going to win at LSU? Yeah, they have players. He doesn't even have to leave the state. But did he have to screw over Ole Miss like this? You have to screw his players like this? I mean, it's I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just lame, but it just seems unfair to me. Now, Kiffin has been taking a lot of abuse because of his own doing. And he confronted a reporter this past weekend who allegedly, I guess not allegedly, I guess the kid did do it, called him a hoe. And this is very immature of this reporter, if it's a reporter at all. This is very sophomorish. If you're a reporter, you have to have a level of credibility. You can't just go out and say, you can't call people these things if you want to be taken seriously. But Lane Kiffin, who is a personality, He makes people laugh. He does crazy things, says crazy things. He confronted this kid. Let's watch.
Yeah, I think, I understand your guys' job, and I think things are fair. Like I say, when questions come, those are fair questions. Maybe I can't answer them. Maybe I don't see them the same. But when you call someone a hoe, that's a different level of stuff. You know, um, can't make hoes into housewives, or something like that. That's just that's about as bush league as stealing Trinidad's jersey like Mississippi State did last night. Luckily we had another one, but so I ain't got any respect for that.
He's right. He's 100% right. You just can't. You can't do shit like that. You can't ask stupid questions like that or make stupid comments like that. Now here is Nick Saban. Now Nick Saban. You respect Nick Saban because he's a championship head coach, one of the greatest football minds of all time. How he came out in defense of Lane Kiffin is beyond me. He does make a great point that you're going to see here. But to even suggest that, it's not Lane Kiffin's, it's not a Lane Kiffin issue, it's an NCAA issue. He's part right, part wrong. If the man had any credibility, any grace, any sense of honor, he would have finished his job here. Now he's saying, Lane Kiffin is saying he's going to coach the team over the next 4 weeks, or for the next month, or however long the season lasts for them. But how are you going to do two jobs at once? What's he going to do at LSU? Isn't there a conflict of interest here? And Herbstreit, who I kind of lost respect for when he started crying after George Floyd died, he's another one. He's just nodding his head. Oh, yeah, he can do both. This is an NCAA problem. No, you know what? Lane Kiffin's a grown man. LSU, you want me? You have to wait till the season's over. Then we'll talk. But these guys, they always have somebody to blame other than their contact. And the reason why they're defending Lane Kiffin is because ESPN and Fox and all these other sports channels, they need access to these guys. So that's why they never come after them. And coaches tend to stick together, except, and I have to give him credit, Bill Cowher went crazy yesterday. But Bill Cowher's in the NFL. He doesn't care about Lane Kiffin. He doesn't need access to Lane Kiffin. Saban, he's with ESPN Game Day now. They have to play by the rules. Even though, to be frank, to be beholden to one of these guys is, as the Stoics would put it, putting your ego first and not your morality. It's the person that doesn't give a shit, that isn't beholden to anybody, that's the real man. So we just saw Nick Saban's true colors. This is from over a week ago, but this is during the rumors swirling. Here's Nick Saban, and decide for yourself.
Well, everybody should be thinking about the players. Everybody should be thinking about the student athletes. What's best for the student athletes? Players should be able to play for his coach for the entire season. Players shouldn't be penalized if a coach leaves, because the committee has the opportunity, if a player or coach doesn't participate, they can sink you in the rankings. Mm-hmm. So Ole Miss could go down in the rankings, maybe lose a home game. So their players are getting penalized. But we need to take a better approach to the business aspect of what we do in college athletics. In the NFL, you cannot leave your team until you're finished playing. You can't talk to another coach in the regular season. There's a defined time when you can talk to them if they're in the playoffs. That's the way it should be. And we should match the academic calendar with the football calendar, and we shouldn't have an early signing date that conflicts with people wanting to hire an early coach, a portal situation where you got to hire an early coach, fire your coach early. None of this is fair to the player. So if we did all that in May and then had some kind of OTA days or something in the summertime instead of spring practice, we wouldn't have all these issues and players could actually finish the year. So this is not a Lane Kiffin conundrum. This is a college football conundrum that we need some leadership to step up and change the rules on how this gets done in terms of coaching searches and opportunities for people to leave. Players can leave. So if you went to the Ole Miss players, they would say, I want my coach to coach till the season's over.
Yeah.
We got a chance to go to the playoffs. When's the next time we're going to have a chance to go to the playoffs? So that's the way it should be, regardless of what Lane decides to do.
All right. He kind of hedged his bet there at that time. But I think the guy should have waited. The job, who are they going to hire? If you're so great, don't worry about it. They'll wait for you. Now, of course, since Lane Kiffin has announced his departure from Ole Miss, there is something going on social media, especially on X, and I'm not going to show these things because I don't know how real they are, but they're called the Lanestein files. And it's about these creepy messages that supposedly, allegedly, he sends to students at the school, girls. Allegedly, there's a story that is on this Lanestein files that suggests players and coaches were covering up the fact that Kiffin may have been doing narcotics on the train, on the planes, in the hotel rooms, in the locker rooms. There's allegedly a story of players catching Lane Kiffin leaving his hotel room with 3 very young blondes, and the one player asked Coach, what'd you get yourself into? And Kiffin replied, these 3, which is kind of good. There's a disturbing story about a player named Ulysses Bennett, who has not played all year, that suggests that he got an STD from Kiffin. So we don't know. These are all allegedly, of course. I'm not saying these are facts, but if you go to X, you can check it out for yourself. Just go to Lanestein Files, and you'll see all these crazy, creepy things coming up. It's the dirty laundry that comes out that you have to deal with now when you do people dirty. They're going to do you dirty. You get what you pay for. You get how you act. If you act honorably, you get honor. People will say that people will understand if you want to leave at the end of the season. If you took Ole Miss to the semifinal and you lost a heartbreaker and you left, you announced January 10th or 11th, whenever the last game of the season is, hey guys, thank you, but I'm off to bigger and better pasture, people would understand. But to do it this way, to do it during the season, it's Bush League. There's no honor anymore. It's gone. That's been gone for a long time. And the NCAA, they'll never change a damn thing. They don't care because those stadiums will be full. The big teams will be great. They'll be on TV every week because the NCAA will make all their billions, tens of billions of dollars on their TV packages. And the merry-go-round will go round and round and round. And when it stops, no one knows. It may never stop. Who knows? Just like the NFL. Do I like it? No. Is it good for young people to see? No, it's terrible. But such is life. All is fair in love and war and college football. And there's my 2 cents. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Remember, my friends, Satan is always busy. Be a man, have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. We'll see you later.